experienced in life, he said something fascinating. I've never seen 6 continuous days of happiness. And what has happened in our independence and gaining of funds and resources, we have become far more nuclear. We have moved out of the extended family home. We demand our nuclear space. At most, our ideal home in this day and age is seen as the husband and the wife and 2 kids at, 2.4 I think is the average for the world, or something to that extent or more. And there you have 5, 6, it's whoa. And sometimes we'll go with no kids. Why? We want our independence. We want our own space. Sometimes as even partners, you want your own rooms, which somehow works or doesn't work. And what is happening, why is that happening, is you and I are thinking we see ourselves more as individuals. And how does that impact on the family unit, the extended family? Is we have an opinion. We have a choice. And we are developing our opinions and choices in this day and age more and more. So your kids have amazing opinions and choices. You put them on the phone, they go places in terms of the internet that you didn't even know existed. My daughter, who still can't read properly, is having a conversation with Google. Tell me which is the wealthiest person in the world. Show me the best car in the world. Right? And it's amazing that she's asking questions I didn't even think of asking that phone of mine. And she gets an answer back. They probably recognizes her voice better than mine. Okay? You know what I mean, in terms of voice understanding and all those kind of things, right? And she probably will develop maybe a voice appropriate to Google rather than my South African accent. Okay? Whatever it might be. And what happens with that is that as much as we have an opinion, it creates disharmony. Because why? Because we are all in different spaces and different places. We are genetically wired differently. And then it actually comes to that we have to try and find a commonality in how we think. And sometimes you are not bothered with the family. I mean, if it's your husband's family, why must you find harmony? Because you have your own opinion on life. And therein comes the disharmony. Therein comes the challenges in terms of relationships at a family level. And your way, for example, which sometimes can be a common challenge of raising children. Your children compared to your husband's brother's children or your wife's sister's children is very different. Why? You have an opinion on life. As much as you in some ways be civil, sometimes it causes a bit of conflict because of this confined space, we challenge each other. And what you got to recognize, every day you are trying to do, and I'm trying to do what is right. And where does that, what we think is right, stems from? It stems from our minds. And can you fundamentally say what you and I think in our minds is right, is correct? Can we say that? No matter what we think, we are correct. We can't. We don't know. We have no clue as to the absolute picture. Okay? But what's fascinating is we all have an opinion which we think is correct. Okay? A person describes to me that she wanted to go into a relationship with a person that has a few children from few different women. And I said, are you comfortable with this relationship? She says, yes, I am fine with it, because he wants the same things out of life that I do at this point in his life. I wasn't too personally convinced, but she was convinced in her mind that she was doing the right thing. We all argue for our minds. And what are we arguing for? In a manner of speaking, as you said, if you don't know the absolute answer, we just know what we think is correct. Let's substitute that mind, the word mind with, we are all arguing for our limitations. We don't see it as a limitation. You and I think, especially when we're younger, around 17 or 18, you and I think this is the world. We are all arguing for how we see the world. And lo and behold, we are sometimes talking past each other, talking against each other, and it leads to breakdown in relationships. So as I say often, you may win an argument. And winning an argument generally sometimes can be based on your position in an organization or in a family home. Well, fortunate at my age with my kid, he's still young enough that I use my position as father to win an argument. Hopefully there is no argument, you just do what I say, okay? At some stage when he's older, it'll be interesting, the conflict, right? So it's about position. Then you have power. Politicians use that all the time, okay? Even a power of a position within an organization. Fame can give you your opinion. I mean, go on social media. Some people will listen to Kim Kardashian in terms of her, I guess, fashion sense more so than someone who is a minor in the whole celebrity scheme of things. Fortune can also play a role. Okay, I'm sure lots of us will listen to Warren Buffett in terms of his advice, even I would, right? Because he's got the money to prove that he is someone's opinion that matters. Okay, so all these factors play a role. The problem is at some point, not all of us are blessed with position, power, fame, and fortune. Okay, and some of us are struggling with our self-esteem and confidence. And lo and behold, people use that and it creates destruction of relationships. It breaks down relationships. Now, how then do you mend it? It means moving beyond our minds to not who is right. It's about what is right and what is the truth. And yes, you may know you represent the truth, or given the information at hand, this is the way it should be. However, the other person who's in a position, and more so especially if they're in a position of power or in a powerful position or have fame or fortune, they're sometimes less likely to listen to you. Not sometimes, most of the time. Why? And subconsciously what our mind does, it says we judge people. That's what the mind does. It judges, it measures, it quantifies, because the mind's job is to keep you safe. And it judges whether you know enough, whether you're famous enough, whether you're rich enough, whether you're intelligent enough. And in its mind, you make a split-second decision that I think your value is minimal. Already the decision is made before you even open your mouth, 99% of the time. And what has happened? They've decided their opinion presides over yours. So no matter what you say, even though you have heard it from the sacred mountain and you went up to the wise man who sits on top and got that information and you've come down to present it on earth to your extended family, they don't give a damn. Why? Because your opinion doesn't matter. And thereby, as much as you know the truth, the harsh realities or brutal or compassionate reality, we'll get there, is that you have to meet the person where they're at. They may not yet be ready for the truth. And then you have to this is where we have to take it a step further, because many of us then spend our lives fighting for what we see the truth to be. And the problem is sometimes you may discover a few years later, as much as you assumed you were holding on to a truth, that wise man sitting on top of the mountain wasn't very wise. He was just smoking a joint of marijuana, and that's why he sounded so chilled and cool and a man of wisdom, right? And all those kind of things, and you have to go there with humble pie and oh, I'm sorry, wrong. And most of us don't like admitting we're wrong. You have to come from a space of love, in spite of what they think, in spite of what they feel, in spite of what they may do. You have to approach with compassion, kindness, and love. And not much as you've been chided, criticized, judged, you have to tap into that heart of yours. Open up that infinite reservoir of love, and it's damn tough. And give compassion, love, and practically a smile and a hello, how are you, and look them in the eye, in spite of how they may behave. And what that demands at a practical level, they may feel that they don't want to look you in the eye, but you got to be big enough that you will continue in spite of them. So they're not a reaction to them. Then you are not playing the game where they criticize you and you go into insult or angry mode or victim mode. You still continue being authentic and integral to who you are. It's challenging because some will really then endeavor to pull you down. But you got to hold on tight. And you come from a place that resonates with power, with love and compassion, regardless of how others are behaving. And you see them for what they are. What happens is it endeavors that you've got to be aware of yourself. So you know you're going to go into action and a reaction mode. You've got to recognize, I'm not going to react. I will respond with the most optimal choice possibility in spite of how the other person's acting. So you don't make yourself because of them. You make yourself whoever you want to be. And that way, in time, relationships will mend. Yes, you may in time, the truth that you held on to may see its day. Yes, they may come and say, I'm sorry. Don't say, I told you so. I knew and I'm the one in power. Let it go. Still come from a place of compassion and kindness. Because then you are forming a true connection, a true bond. Because if it's come back to say, I told you so, I was right, then you are playing the game of right and wrong. And right and wrong wins no friends. Relationships are, yes, at a basic level are about agreement, but a powerful relationship, beyond a friendship generally is about agreement, but a powerful relationship is about the fact that the other disagrees but you still love.